Yeah, that's right. I'm not gonna be stop talking about Stranger Things here yet. I'm still just too deep into the lore, but anyway, well, if you're new to the channel, you're not here for that, you don't want to care about that. Let's just get right into the ranking of my seasons. Now, number one, I don't think anybody can really argue with this. Not saying it's a bad season, and I want to get something straight off too. There is no bad season of Stranger Things. There just isn't. For people who like always do these rankings, I see a lot of them like on TikTok. They always try to say like the season was boring. It was just based off blah 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 blah. I don't think any season is bad, not whatsoever. Just some of them are better than others in my opinion, and some of them going and rewatching them, or when they first came out. It's just gonna kind of my thoughts generally. I just enjoyed them more than the other season. But I don't think that there is truly a bad season. Hardly there's like only like really one bad episode in the series. So anyway, the first season. This is ranking last on my rankings is season 2. Now, season 2 I enjoy. I honestly love the storyline of it. Honestly, I like how 11 moves in with Hopper. But that's also a problem with mine too, but I'll get into that a little bit more. I love a lot of things about season 2. How Mike still thinks Eleven's out there, how Mike and Will kind of go on their own thing, and like the group splits up, and then Steve, ooh, sorry, and then like Steve, then Max and Lucas, and oh my god, always blanks my mind. At least one of them, but they all like kind of form this group, and they all come together at the end, and they fight like, together. It's very reminiscent of like season 1, how they all kind of do their own thing to help at the end. So I really do enjoy that premise, and I do really enjoy the storyline of season 2. But my problems with it are, one, the Lost Sister episode is not a good episode. I remember the first time I watched it, I was bored out of my mind watching it. I I did not enjoy that episode whatsoever. Like I legitimately like in a lot of shows I've watched that I literally skip over that episode on a rewatch because it doesn't add anything to me personally. Like we learn more about Eleven's backstory and the things that she's dealing with, but other than that, it's just boring. And then her other sister's not interesting. And yeah, so yeah, but I really do enjoy the end of it. Obviously, this video is gonna have spoilers, by the way. Like I'll probably throw those in anyway. But obviously, the end is really good. It's very kind of. This is also another problem I have with season 2. They kind of throw in 11 just at the very end, just to like finish the job, which is like, you know. But Bob is a really good character. Honestly, one of my favorite characters in the whole series. I really would be interested to see if he was still in the series. I think he would be still like a very curious to see what his role would be if he was still like playing a role in the series. But yeah, and then Murray again, he gets a bigger role, and then obviously, um, Nancy and Jonathan's relationship kind of goes, and then we see Steve, how he's like growing as a character, becoming basically the Steve that we all know and love. Even though this is, but anyway, there'll be something more to talk about in season 1. But yeah, so that's kind of, and again, the season is very good. I will say that. There's honestly, it's just that one episode that drags it down a lot. Like if you replace the episode with like another good episode, like a Stranger Things episode, I feel like it probably beats out a season or even 2 seasons. But with that episode and just like how, I don't know, it seems like 11 storyline is disconnected, and even like Hopper's, and they're kind of like, I do really like Hopper's storyline in this season too, like how he gets stuck and they go and save him. I just wish we saw. I don't know. I do like how we don't Mikey and 11 don't meet up till the end, but I wish they would have like kind of shown us more of Hopper and Eleven's relationship. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Now for the next season, and I'm not gonna lie, these middle 2 seasons could interchange, but for me, I'm just gonna say them right now, and just my thoughts on it right now. And this pains me to say, but season 1 is next. And honestly, this season could be number 1 in some of my rankings, but it's also the first season that kicks everything off. So we're explaining a lot of storylines, these kids. But that first episode really gets you hooked at the end and really introduces these characters really well, in my opinion. I really like Hopper's character, and I like how they continue with it. and you guys know this about me, or I've said this before, but I don't like Will's mom. Sorry, I'm really bad with names. I can't think. Just really bad with names. But I don't like how they start off her character, that she's like, they say that she has anxiety problems, but they kind of like stop that with her, and how she's just more like this brave woman who's kind of, I really like her characters season 2 and beyond. Like, I really enjoy her character. But season 1, she's like always like, I don't know, she's almost like always shaking, it seems like, and she's like always hyperventilating. And even like when Hopper was like trying to help her and he was like starting to believe her, she almost came off as rude and like was less like that. And she was like, and I get like where, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it was like when Hopper's like looking at her house and thinking that somebody kidnapped him when he was at the house, and she's just kind of mad because she thinks Hopper's saying like they did something with him. Like, that makes sense, and how she's like passive aggressive with him and is like, no, no, no. Like, what do you think happened here? Like, I get it, but it also seems like she wouldn't switch on Hopper. Like, she's known Hopper for a while, so I think her character is definitely good to like kind of get her fleshed out. We see the pieces what she is in this first season, and then they do a really good job with her in the next 3 seasons, in my opinion. But anyway, too much talking about that. But yeah, I really do enjoy her storyline. How honestly nobody believes her, but she doesn't care. She just cares about getting her son back. And then how Jonathan has to deal with this, and then he starts to like see what's going on, and slowly everybody's like piecing together a lot of things, and how they all come at the end, all the storylines clash. And then honestly, Steve's comeback is really good at the end of the story. I really like that too. How he's there to apologize to Jonathan, and this is where I wanted to get with Steve. Steve, in my opinion, in that season 1, I don't think he's that terrible of a guy. Of like only like a couple instances. Like, obviously, like he's like kind of trying to include Barb in like their things, when his two friends are just kind of being assholes to her. He's like just trying to, he could again just trying to be nice to Nancy and everything, but he is, but he's also just like being nice to Barb as well at the end of the day, in my opinion. So there's also that, and then when he like smashes Jonathan's camera, like, it's justified. Like, they see that and they're like, what the hell? Obviously went a little bit too far with that, but then it was kind of messed up when he did the movie theater thing, because again, he shouldn't have even been there if his friend did that. He should have just been like, you need to stop, like, please stop. And then if she didn't stop, walk away, or again, he just didn't do anything about it. And then when that they fight in the alleyway, that was also messed up, what he was saying to him. But then we see this huge turn of leaf for Steve, and again, this is why everybody loves Steve. And really, and again, it just seems like those like parts of him just kind of got thrown in out of place. But there's also like when he didn't care about how Barb was missing, all he cared about was not getting in trouble with the beer. That was also kind of messed up. So again, I don't think his character is as bad as the Duffer Brothers wanted us to think in season 1, and I think that really works for his character, and we really see how he's just willing to do basically anything to save people nowadays, and I really like that about his character. And anyway, I don't know why I just wanted a Steve rant, but yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of good characters. Papa is, honestly, I like Papa in this season, and I'll get to this in season 4. I did not like him in season 4, by the way, but anyway. I like him for what he does, because he's always he thinks he likes what he see when like Eleven's like flipping vans and doing this other stuff. And also that scene's pretty good too. I don't think he's the best in the series, by the way. But yeah, so I guess I should get into the negatives, because there's really again a lot of positive about this first season. There's a lot of world building. And a lot of people say this. There's just not a ton of action, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It just seems like sometimes we're just building up the characters, and it's just taking a while. And so it's just kind of that. And it's also sometimes you're like, I don't know, like it feels like they're just like kind of moving more at a snail's pace. And that would be it. But again, I do really like this season. Again, I don't think there's really any bad season in the story, in the series, like legitimately. So yeah, like I really do enjoy this season, and a lot of like the world building it does and how interesting it really is. So also another thing is I feel like they should have excuse me, sorry. I guess another problem I had with season 1, if I just had to nitpick at something about it, would definitely be, I feel like they should have almost it seems like at the end they could have reached that point sooner. I wish they would have spent just a little bit more time in the Upside Down, like Hopper and Nancy, and then like them just traversing the Upside Down, trying to. I think that would have been really fun and interesting just to see them like trying to figure out where Will is. It's kind of like again, I know it shows it, but it's just kind of like it's very quick through it. I wish they would have like had to like defend themselves and a little bit more action out than just like walking through this. And I know this budget was also lower in season one, so there's that. But that again, that'd just be something if I had to nitpick something. So yeah, so obviously season one's gonna go in rank 3, but again, it could go to 1, it could go to 2. But right now, what I think I'm gonna put season 1 there. Now the next season I have is season 4. Season 4 is gonna be ranking number 2. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. One, it's the longest season, and honestly, I don't think there's a dull moment in it. This is a very exciting season, a lot of action, huge things going on. The Upside Down is shown so much more, and it looks amazing, really. You got Vecna, who's probably one, like, is a very good enemy, in my opinion. I don't, I don't think he's the best enemy in the series, and I'll get into that why. And honestly, I think the Demogorgon, at some points, is a better enemy than Vecna just because like Vecna is so honestly like known now, and he's just honestly his attacks are just not as exciting because he just attacks through the mind. So, but anyway, I'll talk about that later. Again, this season is great. Huge things are happening. The groups, in my opinion, there's like so many storylines going on. It's like sometimes they forget about what's happening in one storyline, and then like, oh shoot, we gotta bring this back. And specifically the Russian when they're in Russia, that's like a storyline that I feel like they kind of forget about that sometimes. Like, oh shit, we forgot this to throw this in this episode, and then they show you what's going on. Like I feel like they leave it on a big cliffhanger in Russia, and then they just throw you back in it. Like, and you're like, what just happened? But yeah, really good season. I didn't like the basketball players either. I feel like they added like obviously you're not supposed to like them, and I don't think anybody really did. But in my opinion, I feel like the basketball players just slowed it down the season a lot and just like, come on, seriously, is this happening? They already have this shit going on. This doesn't really make it. It just makes it more frustrating to watch, almost not like more exciting. Like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Obviously, on first watch, it does, but like on like rewatch, you're like, come on, like you're able to see more. Like this is just kind of them throwing in more action for more action. So that's kind of where I get with that, to be honest. So yeah, but I do like the storyline with like a Hellfire Club. Eddie, he's a great character. Dustin, that's it. I remember Dustin now. Like that storyline is great. I do like the California storyline. I think I'm in the minority with that though. For the first half, like when they're in the house and like they're 11, like struggling with her like high school life and everything, I do enjoy that part. And then like when it gets to the shooting part, that's the story. After that, it's just there's nothing for them to do necessarily. They just have to reach 11. So that's really about it there. And I know they go to Dustin's girlfriend's house and they mess around with her house. Honestly, that's pretty entertaining. I do like Argyle. I think he's a pretty funny comic relief guy in this season. But yeah, I don't really know what else to add about that storyline because again, there's not much. Then 11 storyline, and this is what I want to talk about. I do not like Papa in this because of the fact that he's just so like he is being helped by the scientist. He is like he's a nobody now. Like he can't probably get a job anywhere. We kind of like led to believe that, and then yet he's still willing to just like fully take over the situation and just be like, yeah, this is what needs to happen. No, you're not leaving 11. Like it's just annoying. It's the same thing with the basketball players. Like I feel like 11 should have been able to leave, and then she like can't leave for a second because of the army there, and they like have to hide her for a second or something. I know they wanted to trap the like good doctor there, like the guy from season 2 in there. And again, I really do like his character as well. I should add him in season 2 because I think he adds a lot to it. But anyway. His character, like when he gets chained up, I think we're gonna see a lot of him in season 5. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I do like his character, how he's like always just trying to help 11, put her in a safe place. But I just feel like Papa, and it was very nice to see him die in 11, not forgive him. Yeah, that was very nice to see, and how he's just kind of like the same guy at the end of the day. But I just felt again like the basketball players. It was just like an annoyance at the end of the day. Like, come on, seriously, dude. Like, it just he's obviously just keeping her in this prison. He obviously just wants to keep. This is his life's work basically now, just working with 11. It's just I get it. Like, I get why he would just try to keep her there. Anyway, I need to stop reading about this. But it's just like another again, it's just an annoyance at the end of the day. I'm like, come on, like seriously, uh, I don't know. But anyway, and then we get to like Nancy and then Jonathan, or not Jonathan, Steve, and then all their storylines and like Max. And I know Nancy's kind of like thrown in later at the end, so we're not really don't really know much. Like she's not really with like and like I can't think of her name, but the Steve's new friend. I can't think of her name, but he works with her. Again, I'm really bad with names. She's a great wait, yeah, she was a great addition in season 3, which you guys know where I'm ranking that. But yeah, their storyline I do really enjoy. But it seems like they're just like, doing a lot of driving and chasing around. But and then Nancy trying to figure out like Nancy and the other girl like when they go to the like insane asylum. I think that's hilarious to be honest. Obviously, it would never happen, but it's honestly just so funny to me. And then the girl's reaction. I wish I could think of her name. I'm super sorry about that. But yeah, her just really funny. Their storyline, and then obviously the Max stuff is really good. And then Lucas finally coming back to them, giving up the jocks. Again, there's just so many good things. Again, the stakes are so epic. The final has a lot of question marks. I really hope, and it just gets you really excited for season 5. There's a lot of great things about this season. And there's a lot going on, and I'm missing. I'm not saying a lot of, especially like about the Russian plot line, because again, I really do like that plot line, and how they're like keeping the Demogorgon there, and then like the particles or the hive mind and all that. So yeah, I really do enjoy this season. So that's really about it. So now we'll get into my number 1 ranking, which is going to be season 3. Now, the reason why I enjoy this a lot. One thing I enjoy about season 1 is the start of it, how they're just being kids. It's just nice to see. It's just very relaxing. It's honestly just enjoyable how they're like reacting, and I do enjoy that. And we see a lot more of that in season 3, how it starts off. There's a lot of things going on in the background. Billy is very like an interesting character too. And the summertime, it just it honestly gives me a little bit of nostalgia just from my summers back in the day, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. But I do enjoy the kids just kind of just being kids, and they're like trying to figure out a lot of things. And then I think this is like the downfall of Will's character too. His character is just kind of like in the season, but Eleven's and Max's dynamic is really good in my opinion. I really like their dynamic, and like the mall and everything, and the Russians and everything. Honestly, everything about the season is just so fun. It's so entertaining, and I just love going back and rewatching it. And just it has like this uplifting feeling. And then by the end of the season, it just seems like everything's just like, dang, like what's gonna happen next? In my opinion, that's how I get with it, and I just really do enjoy that. We're just sorry, uh, something scared me. Stranger Things. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. The like Russians is such a funny storyline. Steve, and then I can't think of her name. I'm sorry. I really do like her as a character. And Dustin, and then Lucas's sister. They are all so funny. They all work with each other so well. And then when Steve and her are on drugs, that is hilarious. Oh, it's just I just love that storyline. Honestly, probably my favorite in the whole season. Honestly, in the whole series, to be honest, like it's just so funny and it's so enjoyable. And then you gotta think they're in a Russian base under a mall in the in Indiana, which is where I'm from. So that just kind of adds to the humor of it. And they're trying to escape and they're on drugs. And just the whole scenario is just so funny. And the way like the dynamics are, it's just it's hilarious. And there's obviously a lot of pressure because they literally could die here. So it's very funny, and I do like how all like the storylines kind of come together at the end, like all together. And I know they do this a lot, like they kind of do it in like every season. but except like season 4, which I guess I should have added that. But I do just really enjoy how I just really enjoy this season. It's just really fun to watch, and I don't think honestly every episode I still love rewatching too. There's not like an episode where I know what's gonna happen, so it's not really that exciting to rewatch. But this season is no, just there's so many nice visuals and a lot of things going on. It's just a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion. Now, what I'll say is one scene, I guess I don't know how you would describe this, is the hospital scene. It's honestly a really good scene. Like Jonathan and Nancy scene, like in this, they're not gonna win. Like it seems like they're dead. Like I legitimately thought this is where Nancy would die, and I'd have my like hallelujah. I'm not a big fan of Nancy in the series. I guess I need to make. I'm not gonna make a video. This is like 4 Stranger Things video in a row. But anyway, but Nancy and Jonathan, it seems like they're gonna die. I really do enjoy the hospital scene, but I feel like again this is one scene that just goes on just a tad too long. Now that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, no, this is actually just a really good scene and how they're just seemed like they're gonna be losing. But I feel like also Nancy and Jonathan's relationship is just on the downfall this season. Like I feel like they never get stronger. And I really wish I would have just saw that, and like obviously after their fight and everything, but I feel like they never really like connect like all the other kids are. They just seem to always be fighting and bickering, and that's a problem I have with it too. Because like if they're in a relationship, we've seen what they've been through. Like this should just again just they shouldn't be arguing about like a lot of the things. Like for example, like when they get fired from the paper, Nancy's in the wrong, and I hate how she's like just trying to find excuses. And again, it's for her character, like, but she should like feel reminiscent of Jonathan. Like it's the same thing Steve did to her in season 1, like with Barb. Like he was like didn't care. He was just like worried about the beers and everything. But uh instead of Nancy worrying about Jonathan, like how he's doing with like being fired and everything, all she cares about is like, well, what's going on? Huh? He must be on drugs or something. That's where I'm like, come on, Nancy. Like, you literally have experiences with this in a relationship. Like, why are you doing this as well? So that's a big problem I have with the season. But really, everything else is just fun. It's enjoyable. I love rewatching it. So yeah, that's honestly I don't really know what else to add. Obviously, the finale is awesome. It's beautiful to look at. Billy dying too. I feel like this is a problem I have with season 4. I feel like Max would not react to his death like this. Obviously, everything else that has gone on, but Max has been shown to be like such a strong character. And obviously, like losing somebody like that and like how her life kind of like fell apart is like it's horrible. It's terrible. And like you would expect somebody like to react like this, but then like break up with Lucas and then just kind of like shove everybody away who's her friends who are trying to help her and who have experienced a lot of the things that she has, and like she just doesn't care, honestly. That's kind of annoying as well. But I do but again, they somehow like figure out a way to make it the storyline of her enjoyable. And we see a lot of her like little like her old character like bleed through a lot, and how she is starting to cope with these things. I feel like she just needed a little bit more time, and this also shows how Vecna is also like he shouldn't be killing these people because again they just need time to process their grief and then get over it. So I do enjoy that about it, to be honest. So honestly, my problems with it actually turned to good things at the end of the day. So yeah, but anyway, the final thing I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, for season 3 is Hopper's storyline with the Russian guy. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's so good. Him, Murray, Joyce, that's her name. And then, oh, I can't think of the Russian scientist's name, but they're so funny together. Murray is one of my favorite characters in the series. He's such a good comedic actor. The way he delivers lines, and then him and Hopper, the way they bounce off each other. And then I guess there's something else I want to talk about. Hopper's fake death. I think that's dumb. I feel like they should have just like made it to where he couldn't escape it. And again, that's what they did, but they shouldn't have shown like the other Russians in like the scientist room just evaporate, because he was the one who was closest to the machine. He would have been the one to evaporate as well. So I was like, come on, like, are we seriously like he would have died? Like, and again, I don't think they wanted to kill off Hopper. I don't think they did. I think they wanted the Russians to capture him, and then they have to go and save him. And obviously, the storyline at the beginning of season 4 where she's discovering that. So there's not really a better way to. There's not a ton of ways to do that, but I feel like if they would have sat down for like a day or more, they could have figured out a better way. Like put them in the same situation, just show the people evaporating at the end of the day. Like, and then which just leaves up a lot of questions. Like you assume that he's dead. Don't show like anybody else in the room, and then show like how everybody's like coming from like other rooms to, and then they have to run from it. That would be my best way to do it, I guess. But anyway, that I guess that's really about it. Again, Stranger Things is a great season. If your ranking's different than mine, please leave them in the comments, like legitimately, because I don't think there is a bad season of Stranger Things. Some of them are not as fun to rewatch, but like on that first watch, I think that's very important too, because there's just a lot of like things happening and a lot of like oh my goodness moments that like when you go back and watch, you're like oh okay yeah, I that happens. But yeah, again, this show is really really good. So excuse me, but yeah, that's really about it. I just love Stranger Things. Had to rant about it again, and yeah, again, there's no bad season of Stranger Things. If your ranking's different, I can probably see why. Like, I can just rant about these things a lot. So, yeah, that's really about it. And as always, have a great day.